close friends was murdered by a group of gangsters, and we're now finding out exactly who was responsible after arrests have been made. So you might have been aware of this a little while ago, but in 2025, a social media influencer named Ariela La Lagonsta, also known as Ariela the Lobster, close friends with Tekashi 6IX9INE and appeared in one of his music videos, was actually murdered in this incident. So I'll give you guys an up.
Damn. Now, shout out to Trapmore Ross. Give him a like, comment, subscribe, everything that he has going on. Is this why you can't do content with Tekashi? Is this why you can't do anything with Tekashi? Is this why doing business or any type of thing with Tekashi may be out the question because this young lady has gotten herself accosted and unalived?
And then I'm going to give you guys some backstory on the individuals that allegedly committed this crime who have now been arrested.
Aurelia Mija Polanco, that happened right here along the Cross County Parkway, has made national headlines as police continue to search for her killer. 33-year-old Aurelia Mija Polanco, known to her more than 500,000 Instagram followers as Aurelia La Langosta, was a popular media influencer. She was well known in the New York City nightclub scene where she worked at several hotspots. Her account featured posts of her lifestyle, traveling, involvement in local nightlife, as well as the rap and hip-hop world. She even appeared in a music video by rapper Tekashi 6IX9INE. Her death on Sunday, August 23rd, has sent shockwaves throughout the social media world. A memorial in the Bronx in front of an Inwood nightclub continues to grow with candles, messages, and more. Westchester County Police were called to check on a disabled vehicle on the eastbound shoulder at exit 7 on the Cross County Parkway around 8 a.m. They found Mija Polanco dead behind the wheel. Investigators say she'd been shot and they believe she was targeted. Family members say she'd left her job at Icon, New York on Sunday morning around 4:30 a.m. And the media star reportedly rented an apartment at the new building 42 Broad located just off the exit. So far, no arrests have been announced by investigators. We're told Aurelia Mija Polanco was the mother of 2 children.
So that was about 11 months ago in August of last year. But now we've got an update as federal prosecutors have basically charged 11 members of a pretty notorious Dominican gang known as the Trinitarios, specifically a set called BB7 or the Bad Boys 7. And they've been hit with a huge racketeering case, and they've been linked to a total of 5 murders all across New York and New Jersey, including this incident. So check this out.
We have some major development.
Okay, so these dudes have been sliding around the whole eastern seaboard, doing this 1-2 step like Sierra. They get it extra cracking. Got it.
It's in the case of a social media influencer gunned down on the Cross County Parkway. 6 men now face federal charges in her death. Tony Aiello reports now that the task force working this case cast a wide net, and now almost a dozen alleged gang members are charged in a total of 5 homicides.
It was a Sunday morning last August when nightlife influencer Ariela Mejia Polanco was shot dead in her Mercedes G-Wagon on the Cross County, just yards from her Mount Vernon home. Investigators now believe 6 alleged members of a violent street gang targeted her for a carjacking. They may have seen her flashy posts on Instagram.
She was an innocent young woman, unknown to any of these gang members, who had the misfortune of crossing their path by pure happenstance.
Within hours, the investigation was leading into New York City.
Westchester Public Safety Commissioner Terrence Rayner says intel streaming into the county's real-time crime center was shared with the FBI Safe Streets Task Force. The investigation culminated in an indictment of 11 alleged members of the Bad Boys 7 subset of the Trinitarios street gang.
The charged gang members terrorized people across New York and New Jersey.
U.S. Attorney. So the Trinitarios...
Now, the Trinitarios are a street gang, a New York-based street gang. It's a Spanish street gang coming out of the East Coast of New York area. I believe they're Dominican, if I have it understood correctly. But regardless of the fact, man, these dudes seem like they wanted to send a message to Tekashi 6IX9INE by way of her. You feel me?
Obviously are in the eyes of, in the crosshairs of law enforcement. This is a really serious gang. And this murder was kind of just one part of a much larger investigation into that set known as the Bad Boys 7 or the BB7. So the Trinitarios, they were actually formed in Rikers Island Prison in New York in the early 90s, mainly by Dominican inmates who actually wanted protection from other prison gangs operating in the jail.
Island is the most infamous Correctional Facility in New York. Founded in 1932, this facility has housed rappers like Lil Wayne, Tupac, and A$AP Rocky. The jail has long gained notoriety for its overcrowding and gang activity. In fact, in 1993, two gangs were born in Rikers Island, the United Blood Nation and the Trinitarios. This jail currently be replaced by 4 smaller borough-based jails due to the immense overcrowding and violence, and until this happens, New Yorkers are calling for a federal takeover of the facility to ensure more safety. Trinitarios that are locked up in Rikers Island can make a lot of money. They bribe correctional officers to smuggle in drugs, knives, cell phones, and other contraband. In jail, drugs can be sold for up to 4 times what they are worth on the street. Within Rikers Island, Trinitarios have a reputation for being quick to knife violence if they feel threatened or provoked. The following footage you've seen in this segment were sent by Trinitarios who were locked up. Like, you had to sleep with the lights on all the time? There's always lights on, or does it get dark at all?
5 o'clock in the morning, turn on the light and keep it on all the way to like 9 o'clock.
If I wanted to smuggle something in, can I bribe his CO?
Hell yeah.
If I'm getting lonely and I want the warm touch of a woman, is it possible to get down with a woman?
Hell yeah.
If I'm ever in Rikers, I can invite Sweet Cheeks to come see me?
Nah, you gotta get the CO for me.
You a movie right now, where the bro?
Look, I'm in a box right now.
Like you're solitary.
Yeah.
What'd you do to get sent to the box?
I poked somebody out. I made a knife and I poked the niggas right in their stomach.
I might tell you a jail story.
Well, that is enough to get you sent to the box. Making a knife and hitting somebody up is enough to get you sent there.
Yo, listen, man. Shout out 3DP, man. I got cut up in my face a while back. You feel me? Like, I had to spend one of the threes. He ain't take a deal. You feel me? On the way to school, niggas sparked me, but I sparked the niggas back. I ain't take nothing on the hop. You're a gangster, like.
This is on the way to school?
Yeah. I was on the way to program upstate.
In jail.
Okay.
Jail program, but yeah, man, that's really it. You feel me? It's heavy out here in these streets. You feel me? Like,
they got you twice, huh?
Like 3 times.
And that fight's quick. That happens real quick, huh?
Everybody in New York might not have a gun, but everybody got this.
But more or less, these right here, these work.
Jeez. That boy pulled a blade out of nowhere, nigga. Where the hell did you even get that blade from? Goodness gracious.
Like, I'm not niggas for a living.
So look, it gets treacherous out there, right? But this gang, the Trinitarios, the Dominicans in the streets, they're pretty heavy, but, you know, it can really get, you know, very, very tragic. They're very well known for a 2018 incident. This was a mistaken identity machete murder of a 15-year-old who...
Yeah, that's when they unalived that little boy in that liquor store.
Who went by the name as Lisandro Junior Guzman Feliz, with this going down in the Bronx. And this was just a really, really sad situation of mistaken identity that ended with somebody losing their life. So this is a little bit of backstory on that for you guys.
We got blamed for something, and you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a touchy subject, so I kind of don't really want to talk on it too much. But, you know, like, me, KB, Millie, we make music, right? A lot of people always harass us. Oh, y'all civilian killers, da-da-da-da. That wasn't us, you know what I'm saying? We don't
even know what's
that.
going on with
you know what I'm
that.
saying? Like, there's Bloods that kill innocent people. There's Crips that kill innocent people. But people don't talk about that. But then people want to talk about that little one incident.
When you Google the Trinitarios, one of the first things that comes up is
that was a pretty big incident. I don't want to say that little one incident. We don't want to minimize it because that was a pretty big thing. And the way they did it was savage.
2018 murder of Junior Guzman Feliz. He was in the Belmont neighborhood walking home one day when 4 cars filled with Trinitarios pulled up on him, chased him into a bodega, dragged him out, and stabbed him to death with knives and machetes. He was only 15 years old. According to the news, his death was the result of him being mistaken for a rival gang member. But what some on the street say is he got caught between a Trinitario civil war gone wrong. 14 of the Trinitario members that were involved in this gruesome crime were sentenced, and some of them are serving 25 to life. It's stories like this.
Yeah, like this boy was 15 years old just trying to walk home, and y'all popped out on him 4 cars deep as grown men. And then let me ask y'all this question. Nobody thought when y'all being 4 cars deep that the nigga y'all looking for probably just wouldn't be walking around? Like, nobody thought about that? Nobody thought about the fact that, like, if we're looking for this nigga that takes 4 cars if it's full. So if it's 4 seatbelts in each car, that's 12 people. The nigga that one person that takes 12 people the nigga that's requiring 12 people to take him down, you think he just walking down the street to the liquor store? That don't even make sense.
The cycle of violence in the hood seemed like something that will never go away.
So It's interesting, right? Because the victim that I mentioned to you at the start of the video was apparently, you know, a friend of 6IX's. Well, this group, the Trinitarios, were apparently the very crew in July 2018 that had allegedly threatened to cut 6IX9 while he was being held at Rikers Island after he got charged.
However, this could have been like a scheme or a tactic used by him and his lawyers to try to get out of jail when he was locked up in New York. If you don't know, he was locked up right when he came from his European tour. They locked him up because he got a warrant in Houston, and he was locked up for a couple of days. Now he went to Rikers and he got out in about like 45 minutes, but he was in like central booking, which is quote unquote the Tombs in Manhattan. Now, according to court sources, and again, it's coming from the New York Daily News, they're saying that while 6IX9 was locked up, there were Trinitarios gang members who threatened him in central booking, and they were threatening him before his hearing was about to begin, but they were calling him a bitch and threatened to cut him. Okay, now that's not the most alarming part. It's jail. Okay, niggas ain't fucking baking you cookies and bringing you like fucking whole milk that you can enjoy your meal, right? It's fucking jail. Niggas gonna say some shit to you. But they continue to say that my man 6IX9 cowered in fear during the verbal onslaught. Now, again, I gotta give both sides. I haven't talked to him directly about this, but I got to, because if it's true, I gotta clown him about it. But this could just be a fabrication that maybe his team put out there to say, yo, he's kind of in fear of his life. Please get him out of jail. Niggas.
So that's a pretty crazy incident, but this crew are known for a lot more than just threatening to cut 6IX9, okay? On March the 30th, 2024, Frankelis Tavares was wounded in a Bronx shooting that was connected to this group.
I have seen detectives coming in and out of that deli behind me. Now, going back to that fatal victim of another shooting, he's been identified as Frankelis Tavares. His mom telling us that the worst feeling is knowing that her son is not going to walk through the door of their home ever again. Nancy Tavares is not celebrating Easter this Sunday. Instead, she's trying to wake up from what she calls a nightmare. It was around midnight when her world turned upside down. She never heard back from her son, who stepped out of the house on Saturday evening and was supposed to come right back because he was scheduled to work the following morning. Police arrived at her home in the Bronx to let her know that 25-year-old Frankelis Tavares had been killed. Although she speaks no English, the pain of this mother is palpable. Authorities say Tavares was shot in the chest around 8:50 last night on East 187th in T-Wood Avenue.
So it just makes you wonder, did these dudes get this girl to send a message to Tekashi 6IX? Because they did try to accost him in the jail, but weren't able to, but now she's unalived. So you think all things are connected, or what's going on?
And a 23-year-old man received a gunshot wound to the stomach and buttocks. He's in stable condition. Frankelis' brother is inconsolable, telling us he wishes he would have played video games with him when he asked him last week.
The Wild Wild West.
The shooting happened steps away from the Bronx Baptist Church.
So really sad situation. These guys are definitely, you know, very, very dangerous. Now, another murder that's now apparently been connected to them was a July 28th, 2025 incident where Gabriel Alvarez and Adam Waldrop were killed in a shooting at a car meet near Ferry Point Park.
Two men were shot and killed in a parking lot early this morning.
It comes on the heels of a violent weekend. We saw 3 shootings at the end of the Bronx Dominican Parade. This while New York City police say crime stats paint a picture of historic lows.
Still, statistics are one thing, public perception is another. And high-profile shootings like this one here have New Yorkers on edge. So let's get to Eyewitness News reporter Phil Tate joining us live in Throgs Neck. Phil, we're talking about an area that is, not known for crime. Yeah, Pedro, good morning. That's right. And this all comes after a violent weekend. Well, that's as cops tell us around 5:30 this morning. Bullets flew here in the Throgs Neck section of the Bronx. Unfortunately, 2 men are left dead. I want you all to take a live look right now at the scene. This morning, the crime scene unit arrived.
Hey, these Trinitarios is out here terrorizing the Bronx. God damn, this is what they got going on? I mean, I ain't never been to the Bronx, but sheesh. What's going on over here?
just the past half hour, and they've been paying much attention to a vehicle that is just in front of that squad car. Now, it's unclear who the owner of that may be, but this will be looked at along with everything else left behind to figure out what happened as this active investigation gets underway. Now, cops say the two men were hit multiple times when bullets flew here on Schley Avenue, just off of Brush Avenue. Now, shell casings line the avenue that sits between a park and a school bus service lot. We're told a 22-year-old man was shot in the shoulder and torso, and then you have a 21-year-old man shot in the abdomen. Unfortunately, both of these men did not survive their injuries. We spoke with one neighbor who did not want to appear on camera, who's left on edge as a crime scene is now in the middle of his community. Let's take a listen.
It makes me nervous when I see somebody got shot. That's really bad news, you know, and I don't know what else to say, but, you know, I'm hoping that it didn't happen from an event from inside the park and then it came out to here, you know, but I'm sure the police are going to investigate what happened.
And we look for the...
So that would be followed by another incident on August the 2nd of 2025 when Alves Perez Liriano was killed and another man was wounded in a shooting on Bloomfield Avenue in New York. Let me see if I can show you this.
One person. Police in Newark are investigating a shooting that left one person dead and another hospitalized. This happened on Bloomfield Avenue just before midnight Saturday. Prosecutors say a 33-year-old man was found shot. He was taken to the hospital where he died. Another man also injured in stable condition this morning. Newark police asking anyone with information to give them a call.
So they've really got the city on fire, and the last murder that was apparently connected to this back and forth would be on August the 17th, 2025, basically when Ariela Lagonsta was found shot inside of that Mercedes on Cross County Parkway, and rumors spread that this was potentially actually retaliation for her husband allegedly stealing drugs. So this is some reporting on that.
And I'll show you another photo later so you can see if it's true. And look what it says there. It says you're dedicated to.
Not a Cartier, of course. What he's doing is sitting outside the nightclub waiting.
Now imagine your husband get caught up in the flu flam and they come looking for you. Ladies, you got to be careful.
For the tigers to come out so he can rob them. What a disappointment. Outside the nightclub drinking, partying.
Yes, just like Tolentino said, but he has another system that is his deadliest, that he has a group of minors that he doesn't sit with anymore. He has a group of minors that he locates and he's in charge.
Let me see if I understand. This same young man, from what I read about Tolentino, is also singled out for what happened to Ariel the lobster.
Yes. I'm going to explain that to you now. So, what's going on with Ariella? That's strange. I don't know. It hasn't appeared in the videos on social media. He stole drugs from some people from the United States. He takes some drugs from her, he beats up some people, they grab her in her vehicle and they start torturing her and they start sending him away. The one who really knows that he has the information knows that they started sending him the videos and they told him, come, and he said that he was going, and they were torturing her and beating her up. He has to have the videos. Those videos are hard to find here. I got that video.
I'm confused. So, no, they tortured her. They
were torturing her.
Ariella, of course, because it was to get him and he never showed up.
And what connection did she and him have? That
he was her husband.
That he was her husband.
So after the torture, they decided to kill her. He himself
said that he was going to arrive and he never showed up to where the guys were. And so before they attacked her, they were already looking for him and they started a big shootout. I mean, he already knew they were after him. That's what never happened. The information I have is not that the police arrested him, but that he turned himself in. He's in jail because he spoke out and they know. They have the videos there that she was killed because of him because he was a thief and a stealer because the guy is a big-time thief. The guy doesn't go around stealing little things. Look what happened.
So this is kind of like a whole big web of crime, basically, that kind of they've just got to the bottom of. And this is sort of the recent indictment that just came out that has a lot more details about these alleged murders. So it says the feds announced charges in Westchester killing of Ariela Lagonsta, or Ariel the Lobster. It says federal authorities working with Westchester, Bronx, New Jersey prosecutors and police say that they have solved the fatal cross-county parkway shooting of social media influencer Ariela and 4 other murders in the New York metro area with a sweeping indictment of 11 members of a Trinitarios street gang. The indictment announced Monday, July the 20th, for the first time publicly revealed that La Lagonsta whose real name is Ariela Mea Polanco, was the victim of a botched carjacking. It says 6 of the men charged are implicated in her killing could face the death penalty according to the indictment. All 11 alleged gang members and a 12th defendant pleaded not guilty and were ordered held without bail. A pair of arraignments on Monday afternoon before U.S. Magistrate Victoria Resnick in White Plains Federal Court. Assistant U.S. Attorney John Sarlito said that among the voluminous evidence in the case were instances when the defendants were discussing, celebrating, and promoting their alleged crimes on social media. It said Mayor Polanco, 33, was heading home from an Upper Manhattan nightclub where she worked early on August 17th, 2025, when she was killed in her Mercedes in a hail of bullets as she approached the Broad Street exit in Mount Vernon. She was in view of the luxury apartment building in 42.
Hey, these niggas is getting it cracking around there, ain't it? I don't know who Tekashi did. I don't know what Tekashi did to these people, but you better stay away from them.
Broad, where she rented an apartment, and she also owned a home in Stony Point, Rockland County. The suspects in the case were members of the Bad Boys 7 branch of the Trinitarios, and they targeted the luxury SUV and at some point placed a GPS monitor on it so it could be tracked. As she tried to pull away when 2 cars boxed her in on the exit ramp, the shots were fired and the suspects fled, leaving her to die in the front seat. Doesn't sound like a botched carjacking, does it? Both of the cars had been stolen, but the Westchester Police Real-Time Crime Center could identify the cars, tracking them through license plate readers. One of the cars was eventually found in New Jersey, where some of the defendants lived. She was almost home when this reprehensible act of violence occurred, Westchester County Police Commissioner Terrence Rayner said, adding later, "Our shared goal was to get justice for a young woman, a mom who was executed in the prime of her life." Rayner spoke after a press conference Monday at the Westchester Police Academy, where U.S. Attorney Jay Clayton said the collaboration among local and federal law enforcement agencies kicked into full gear about a month after Mayor Polanco's killing, when multiple agencies met in Westchester. James Barnacle, assistant director in charge of the FBI New York field office, called the killing horrific in its brutality and said in addition to the 5 murders, the investigation linked the gang to 4 non-fatal shootings and a dozen robberies. The gang members, ranging in age from 20 to 30, had 40 prior arrests among them. So it says the indictment details an alleged racketeering conspiracy between September 2023 and September 2025 involving murders, robberies, assaults, carjackings, drug trafficking, and wire fraud tied to the 11 members of Bad Boys 7, which was primarily active in New Jersey and the Bronx. Those indicted on the top charges, racketeering conspiracy and murder in aid of racketeering, and Chelred Sosa, Eric Placencia, Justin Martha, Michael Mercedes Marte, Jose Peralta Gomez, Manuel Abad Rivas, Wilfred Carbuccia, Jalen Portes Guaba, Javier Pena, Angel Baez Manon, and Darwin Martinez. Martha, Marte, Gomez, Rivas, Carbuccia, Guaba are implicated in Mayor Polanco's killing. The 12th defendant, Jarol Ledesma, was also indicted with 4 of the gang members on stalking and robbery charges related to a June 2025 theft of nearly 400 grand's worth of jewelry from the Dominican musician Bulin 47 and his entourage in the parking lot of a Hyatt Place hotel in Fort Lee, New Jersey.
400 grand worth of jewelry? Damn it, man. I had to look at that because I heard grams, because Trap Lord Ross got that super thick accent. But dang, 400 racades, 400 raccoons, 400 Rakianas? God damn.
5 alleged robbers were arrested in September on state charges in the case brought by the Bergen County Prosecutor's Office. They were accused of placing a GPS monitor on a car driven by the victims from Massachusetts and tracking them through the Bronx and Manhattan before confronting the victims at a hotel. Ledesma's lawyer, John Wallenstein, said that he would move to sever his client's case from the others, as it would be highly prejudicial to be tried among alleged murderers. The other killings were of Frankelis Tavares on March the 30th, 2024 in the Bronx, Gabriel Alvarez and Adam Waldrop on July the 28th, 2025 in the Bronx, and Alves Perez Liriano on August 2nd, 2025 at a barbershop in Newark, New Jersey. Manon had already been facing state charges in Tavares' killing, and Sosa was already implicated in that killing in the federal indictment. Martinez was indicted in the Bronx in double homicide, accused of riding up on a moped to steal a necklace during a car meet, and when the victim resisted, he shot Alvarez and Waldrop. The federal indictment charges Sosa, Placentia, Marte, Gomez, Rivas, Carbuccia, and Pena in Liriano's murder, and all of the defendants except for Placencia had been in custody prior to their indictment. He was arrested Sunday in Manchester, New Jersey. So it says Mayor Polanco and La Langosta had more than 400...
Yeah, it seems like pretty much from New York to New Jersey, that's their whole little section of where they get cracking at. You feel me? And it seemed like they really getting it cracking and holding down that little section. Like, I don't know who they beef with outside of 6ix9ine, but man, if y'all beef with somebody and your enemies is knocking y'all down on the scoreboard, I would hate to see what they got going on, because y'all got a lot going on. Sheesh.
160,000 followers on Instagram.
We got to do better, man. All this violence and all these flu flams and this skullduggery and this larceny. I'm hearing all these stories, but I ain't really hearing no reason. Everything is kind of like just because. Like, I've yet to really hear a valid or a solid reason why anybody's doing any of these things. These niggas is all just kind of here. But with that all being said, man, we finna get up out of here to the next one. Red dots to the left, you know the rest. Say a prayer and be blessed. Go.